I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm going backwards with my alcohol consumption when it comes to beer. I feel like there was a time there where, all I drank was the cheap stuff in college. And then, I got a job and I'm like, I'm going to start drinking better beer. So then I started drinking craft beer. And then, for 10 years, I tried to always drink an IPA or an American Pale Ale, which is one of my favorites.
We went to have beers with Joe Calero the other day.
Yeah.
And Jeremy got pissed at the lady because they didn't have Miller Lite on tap.
Or they didn't have it in the bar. They didn't have Miller Lite. I said, well, how about Coors Light? And I wasn't pissed. I was annoyed.
They had Coors Light on tap. But
no, they did not. No, they did not.
They ran out. They had the cup on the handle.
She said, all we have is Bud Light.
She said,
I'm like, you're kidding me. You don't have another light beer in the bar?
When she says, yes, we have Coors Light, then she looked over at the bar and she saw that the cup was on the handle. And she's like, oh, I guess we don't have Coors Light.
I go to this place quite often, and I know she's really lazy, and she's not a great server. So, whatever. That's when we were talking the other day about, do you at least leave a tip at a place that you really like to go to? Yes, because the chips, you didn't have any of the chips. I don't want to give it away, but they have some of the best.
Don't give it away now because you just called the lady lazy.
Well, she is lazy. And she's lazy.
It's
always been the problem with that place is the help. The food is great. The service, some of the worst I've ever had. Ever. And it's not just her. There was another gal there for a while that was like a Russian Bart. I think she was Russian. She was terrible. Like, she would never come back. You'd be like doing jumping jacks. Hey! And you were there. It's not that big of a place.
I was pleasantly surprised at the level of service that we got.
Shut up.
Because, no, seriously, because we sat down.
We were the only ones there,
We
Jeff.
sat down to have, Joe had 2 beers, you had 2 beers, I had 1. And so we had 5 beers over the course of 2+ hours.
Yeah,
okay?
we were the only ones there for
2+ hours.
2 hours.
And
somebody came in
you
at
and
the
Joe
end.
kept asking her for chips.
I asked her for chips once.
We were a low revenue.
Yeah, give me some chips, honey.
Okay. Joe had him bring chips. You had him bring chips. And I think there was a third setting of chips that was brought too. I don't know who asked for that.
So hold on. Let me get this straight.
I did not eat chips at all.
What do you think the average price of a beer on that table was yesterday? $6? $7?
I don't know. I saw Joe ended up paying for it. So
you saw the tab?
I saw the tip, and he tipped 6. So I'm just going to surmise that he probably is a 20% tipper.
Well, he had an extra one before we left because he was.
That's right. He had 3.
So he had 3.
Because he was meeting somebody
I had
else
2.
there.
That's 5. You had 6. What's 6 times 6?
6 beers.
6 times 6 is $36,
Yeah.
right? Plus tax, $40.
$60
by the time you're done. Oh, he also ordered some guacamole, so it was over $40. All right. So you know what? If I spend $40 in your bar, I think you can bring me some chips and salsa.
That stuff costs money.
How did we get on this? What are we talking about? Now you got me all worked up.
You said
yes.
You're getting in a tizzy because people don't have Miller Lite on tap.
No, yeah. So I like Miller Lite. Okay, that is my go-to, and then Coors Light would be my second go-to. Bud Light's not even on the radar.
It's not an option, especially if it comes in a
instead,
aluminum bottle.
I had Pacifico, which was fine, but I find myself going backwards. And I'm curious because there was a new study that was done that said millennials like going through the roof with the craft beers. Like they're going nuts with the craft beers. And I like craft beer, but I also just like something simple when I drink a beer. Like there's so many things that you can drink here. Wine, you can drink cider, you can drink obviously beer, craft beer. You can drink spirits. There's a lot of local guys making brandies and vodkas and all this kind of crap. And I'm sure there's other stuff I don't know about that people are making that people are drinking. That fermented tea. What's that called?
Oh, yeah. I saw that they're putting like CBDs and alcohol in it.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah. Well, they're making cocktails with the tea. Wellbird kombucha. That's what it's called.
Kombucha.
And Wellbird's local guys. And I've met these guys. They're really cool. And they're nice guys. And they're way into it. And so, regular kombucha doesn't really have any alcohol in it just because it's fermented. It's very, very small amounts. Now they're making kombucha drinks.
What was the reason for kombucha to come out on the marketplace? Because it helps.
Well, I think it's Chinese or Japanese.
Digestion?
It's something that's been around for a long time.
Is it a digestion?
Yeah, it's supposed to be good for your gut. There's a lot of good things for your body.
Antioxidants?
Yeah, I guess. So,
sure. Go right ahead.
And some of it's okay, but some of it's just a little tart for me. Oh, sour beers, wild ales, all these things. So, but I feel like I'm going backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you at? Are you still drinking craft beers?
Yeah, I very rarely will drink a domestic beer. It's funny. It
doesn't have to be a domestic.
I default
pale ale or a lager.
Right.
I'm a lager guy.
So what I what I did the other day, because I really was in no mood to drink beer when we had beers, but everybody was drinking a beer, so I was like, all right.
You know what I didn't want? I was going to have iced tea, but I was like, I didn't want to be the only guy drinking iced tea. You and I should have got together.
But we had an appointment to have beers with Coach Calero, not an appointment to sit down and drink iced tea with.
What's the matter? I was there for the conversation. I wasn't there for
Right,
the beer.
I understand
I
that.
could buy a Pacifico anyway.
But I think there's a certain.
They didn't even have the beer I wanted
There's
either.
a certain code that you need to have, and that code is if you say, hey, you want to go grab some beers, you grab a beer. You don't grab an iced tea. Once you say, hey, you want to go grab some beers. But because I wanted it to be tame, you know what I ended up ordering as my beer that I sat there and nursed because I really wasn't in the mood to
I remember
beer.
you ordered 805.
I ordered an 805. 805 is my new light beer.
It's the new closest thing to a domestic,
Yeah. And domestic light.
right?
Yeah. Like it is a better version by far and away, a better version of any light beers for the light beer. It is
It's a step up.
it's the regional step up
It's a step up.
for a light beer.
I just don't understand-
Because I don't live in St. Louis, I don't have to settle for a Bud Light. I get to settle for a Firestone 805. That's nice. That's a perk to living here. You know? It's because it's so plentiful and so abundant.
I'm just thinking the older you get, maybe you reverse and then you start to go back and you start drinking the lower alcohol light beers. You go back into that because that's what I'm doing. And that's what I know a bunch of my friends are doing. They don't drink the craft beers anymore. They've gone back. Some of them are, drink Coors Light. Some of them drink Miller Lite. Some drink Michelob Ultra. The hell is that?
I've never had a Michelob Ultra.
I've tried one once. Life. It tastes like carbonated water.
I have had many Zimas, though. I love Zima. And that stuff needs to come back with full force.
So millennials are, a new study found that they spend $59 per month on their craft beer.
Good for them. They should. Why not? Craft beer has a lot of nutrients to it compared to these
That's not what people are drinking.
These mass-produced domestics that you're drinking that are just filled with.
I'm just drinking something to give me a thirst quench,
Corn syrup,
Guys are spending an average of $66 a month. Women are spending around $50. You don't normally see women drink beer.
Oh yeah, I see lots of women drink beer.
Really?
Yeah.
When's the last time you saw one?
My wife drinks beer.
I've never seen your wife drink a beer.
She likes beer.
I've never seen your wife drink a beer.
She never finishes the beer though, but she doesn't do that with any beverage.
What beer? What is she drinking?
She actually likes Miller Lite quite a bit, but she's a
redneck. Yeah, come on.
Or she's a girl. Some would surmise.
What? That's not a girl's drink. I know a lot of manly men that drink Miller Lite. Okay.
She really digs the mango IPA from Barrel House. That
is pretty good.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm a girl. Your wife and I would get along. We could split a 6-pack.
She drinks orange vodka with the splash of Sprite on top.
No, I don't do that.
Red Bull vodkas or her jam.
That's not my game. Just soda with a lime.
And when she wants to seem cool to her friends, she'll order an old fashioned.
All right, it's time to go.
Subscribe to the Jeff and Jeremy podcast now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and YouTube. It's your Central Coast commute-friendly podcast.